Hello friends, on Tritea, deep into boat work. Today we're going to be tackling the forward water tank. There's always been a leak in the forward water tank, and I finally found it after 3 years. When I would be on a starboard tack, if the tanks were full, the fresh water would find its way out of the cabin stall. And I found two weird overflow holes that look factory. It's a very poor design. But while I was investigating that, I discovered that the forward water tank is beyond hope. There's tons of blistering. It's a built-in fiberglass tank, and it looks like there was a really sketchy old repair done with who knows what type of material. You guys will see footage of that once we get into this. So the plan today is to cut up large access holes into the forward tank and insert a Plastimo water bladder that is the same shape as our water tank, which is like triangle. I've never used a water bladder. I've heard various things about they taste like plastic, they don't taste like plastic. So this will be a good way for us to know whether or not these water bladders do actually affect the taste of the water. We are planning on installing a 65-gallon tank under our cabin stall built into the bilge. So that'll be our primary drinking water. Our forward tank will be used for washing the dishes and rinsing stuff, and for our shower. So the idea is to keep them separate, so that, but both to be the option of potable, but to be able to deplete the forward tank first to remove that weight from the bow, and then we'll still have a separate 65-gallon tank that is only for drinking water and not hooked up to the shower. That will allow us to regulate our water use. So let's take a look at the water bladder we went with. So here's the bladder. This is the intake. This is where it pulls from to go to your source. Plastimo. And this one's pretty cool because it has like this outer shell, and then the actual bladder is like inside. So it's protected. So this is like more abrasive proof, this outside shell that looks like Sunbrella. And it has these tie downs. Here's our box. So now it's time for us to look at where we're going to be putting it. I've removed the part of the cabinetry from the aft part of the tank, and this we're going to make our first big cut, and where we'll likely be feeding the whole bladder into. And then we'll be making another cut forward for the intake hose to come in. So check it out. So here's our tank. I'm going to be cutting this with a multi-tool, this whole part out, and then I have a board that'll set down over this to protect it from anything that's in this stowage area. Here's where our old intake was. That was the fitting. It was cracked and leaking and all kinds of stuff. There's the old hole. Now it's time to get suited up and to make this cut, and I'll show you guys what the inside of this tank looks like. There's all kinds of weird stuff sitting in the bottom of it, and I'm really glad we never tried drinking this water because it's surely highly contaminated. So let's get to cutting this fiberglass. Okay, let's take a look inside this water tank. See these runs? See all that discoloration? And that looks like a crack. You know, look at that. Like, what's happening there? Yeah, I don't know what all this is. And then down in there, and then look at all this cracking. See all that cracking? No good. And yeah, no good. Like I said, for as little water as this holds, it was not worth it to me to try to rebuild this tank. And we know that having weight forward is like not ideal anyway. So now that hole's done, we can clean out this water and scrub it out a little bit and test fit our new water tank, test fit our new water bladder, and see where our other hole needs to be, and go from there. Okay, so let's take another look at this now that I got all the water cleared out. It's like, who knows what that is. Someone tried to just like do some shoddy repair. And then you can see this crack all the way forward, and then these are all like blisters or mold or who knows what. Yeah, it's definitely blisters. So yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this out now. And some people think that if you can put one of these water bladders in your old tank, and then if it ever does rupture, then your water tank will catch it, you know, which is true. But I'm going to drill a hole, like a drain hole in it, because if I don't want standing water to get in there, because water's going to find its way in there through condensation or whatever. But I'd much rather that find its way down to the bilge than to sit and grow mold and grow whatever. So yeah, that's my theory on the whole thing. And if it does rupture and all the water pours in the bilge, then the bilge pump will pump it out. And either way, you would have to deal with getting the water out of that place anyway. So yeah, crazy. So time to get to cleaning this nasty thing out, and then we'll slide our bladder in and see where else we need to make some cuts for our other hoses, and go from there. So I've got it cleaned enough to do the test fit for the bladder. Then we'll cut the hole for the fill, which is going to be forward, and pull it back out, and then finish cleaning it. So let's see how this thing fits in here. Alright, so there's that. And this is the 31 gallon bladder, I believe. And to my understanding, this is a 30-gallon tank. But I guess we'll see when it comes time to fill up the bladder. And with this big access hole, it'll be easy for us to see if she's getting too cramped in the space and then to stop. I am going to order like a meter that goes onto the hose so that we can know how many gallons we're putting in for this initial fill, and to kind of see what makes sense, and go from there. So now I'm going to go ahead and mark where our hole is going to be for our fill, so I can cut out a large access hole forward. And that one's going to be tricky because it's underneath the V-berth, so it's going to be a little harder to get to, but it's going to be the same process. Okay, so in theory, all my fiberglass cutting is done for the day. Here's the forward part. You can see it. So now it's a matter of, I'm going to really give this thing a good scrub and scrape off any of those mold spots I can scrape off, and just really get to it. And then let it air out overnight. So I'm going to go on record now saying I don't like this fitting. It feels like you can't get it tight without it kind of like popping off. So I'll say that now. That way if it fails, I can reference this clip. Hopefully it won't fail. It's a, you know, one of the top companies for these water bladders. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the way that fitting is. It's a little sketch. So I've tied Dyneema on the ends of the tie downs, and then I drilled like oversized holes, and I just fed the Dyneema up through the hole and did a stopper knot, figure 8 knot. And I don't think it's got much room to go anywhere, but as you remove water from it, there will be more room for it to move around. And they put them on there for a reason, so I'm going to trust that. Where it's at, I couldn't figure out a way to like put a D-ring or anything in there, so I figured this would be a good solution. Okay, so we're getting ready to fill up the water bladder for the first time. Got the new deck fill installed yesterday, which I'm excited about, to change that out at the same time we're doing this like water bladder situation, because I could never find O-rings for the original bronze one that really fit, so that was always a risk that seawater could come aboard and find its way into our fresh water. So now we have a new one. We can get spare O-rings, and that's all taken care of. So everything's screwed down tight. Camille's going to be up on the deck filling it, and then I'm going to be down below watching it expand and see how it sits in the space, and see if there's anything that we should be worried about for this first fill.
You want me to put it in the hole?
Stupid. So now we'll see if there's any leaks and watch how it expands. Don't see any leaks there. Oh, a little bit of leak, but that's because of that hose. I'm gonna seal it better. No leaks up there. Okay, that's enough. Okay, so that's enough for our test today. I'm not sure how much is in there. I do want to get like a gallon meters for the hose so we can see how much we can actually get in there. I'm going to put rubber hose around all of these fiberglass edges to keep any kind of chafing from happening. There's an outer skin on the bladder, so it's not like it would burst, but just to, you know, double up on the safety of it. But for what we're doing right now, this is perfect. Okay, so the next step is let's go ahead and check the galley and see that water's coming out there. So, welcome to the future. After living with the water bladder in the forward water tank for the last like about 6 months now, I would say it's a really good option if you have a fouled water tank. to be able to put that in its place and have potable water that's safe for like washing and drinking if you don't mind the taste. As I showed on the scroller, at first it tasted like you're drinking out of like a kiddie pool, or it more specifically tasted like the way a new beach ball smells. Since then it has gone to like a garden hose taste. And in the water bladder's defense, we never did like the vinegar inside or bleach. You can do different stuff to try to offset the taste, so we never even did that. So maybe that's on us, maybe that would help. I don't mind it. Camille doesn't like it. She drinks like the filtered water that we get. But the other thing is we have the Whale Gusher foot pump. We don't have an electric pump, so we can't install a filter in line. Like those filters don't work unless you have an electric pump. So that's the situation. If your water tank is completely fouled and you still want to be able to have the access to water and you don't mind the taste, then that's a really good option, I think. Even if you're just using it for cleaning and stuff and you buy bottled water for your drinking water, I think it's a great option. So yeah, that's that, and I hope this video helped you guys. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and subscribe, hit that little bell button so you don't miss any future episodes. There's going to be a number of these big refit videos from 2020 where we're showing you us getting the boat ready and upgrading everything for like ocean cruising. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Let us know down in the comments what you thought, and fair winds until next time.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. It helps us a lot.
Thanks again to all of our patrons. Your contributions help us get the boat ready for big things.
Until next time.